Good morning and welcome to our webinar, Marketing the Maritimes, Create and Implement Your Digital Marketing Plan for 2025. Session 1, the Marie Kondo session. So happy you were able to join us today. And today is kind of a spring cleaning, getting ready for the season. And what better way than, preparing with a digital marketing plan. So again, throughout any presentation, we offer the Q&A at the bottom is the best way to have a robust discussion. Please ask any questions you have throughout. We'll make sure we get to them. If a question pops up after the fact, we're here for you. Just send us an email and we'll make sure we respond to you. Any links or webinar topics that we think that you should visit after or outside of the webinar we're in now, we would encourage you to check that out after the fact. We'll send an email with all the links and resources to ensure that any software or anything we suggest, you can check it out later on. You have the opportunity to turn on closed captioning. It's at the bottom of your screen in the taskbar. So if you're interested, you can do that. And again, thank you for taking the time to join us today. I'm hoping you joined us through Digiport, and the Digiport is a partnership with Digital Nova Scotia, and we offer an opportunity as a one-stop shop for interactive services and opportunities for tourism businesses in Nova Scotia to access digital professionals, our webinars, any resources we have. There's over 100 resources just around tip sheets on any kind of digital challenge you may be having. There's videos, there's one-on-one sessions you can book, and also access to any of our programming. So encourage you to sign up to Digiport. The links on the screen there will be coming out in the email after the fact, and check it out. So happy again to join us. I'm happy to have Liam Taylor back with us again from SME Solutions. We've had Liam up to our digital days. We've also had the opportunity to have Liam present multiple times. He has over 20 years experience managing all facets of a small business, emerging and existing business concepts. Liam specializes in developing new business ideas from concept to execution, and his skill set includes business marketing development, product development, training, mentoring, and marketing and promotion. Apart from the above mentioned expertise, Liam specializes in integrating online web strategy with traditional marketing and business management. It is a crazy landscape, the way digital marketing is going. You have all these different factors and it's constantly changing. And having a professional like SME Solutions help guide the way is really helpful. So I'm happy that Liam's able to offer today's webinar and the next two in the series. I'd like to welcome Liam to take over the screen. So happy you could join us and share away, Liam. Thank you for joining us.
My pleasure. I'm just going to make sure I'm sharing the correct screen. Okay.
Perfect. Wonderful.
All right. Well, welcome everyone. Good morning. This is, as Nick said, this is the first in a three-part session that'll walk you through reviewing, planning, and finally implementing your 2025 digital marketing plan. The overall aim of this three-part workshop is to sell more product through your website, sell more service, sell more of your rooms, market your business more effectively. And we'll be doing this by focusing on four overarching goals. So we'll be making sure your online presence is consistent. We'll be growing your customer base. We'll be increasing and leveraging your customer loyalty and increasing your efficiency online. We're going to make things easier. In this case, a goal is an overall achievable outcome that's broad and longer term. And we really want to be able to measure how well we're doing. So there are going to be our objectives, which are going to be our measurable actions. So we're going to see how we can analyze our reach, our engagement, and ultimately convert your visitors into customers. So this is the Marie Kondo session. I'm not sure if many of you remember her. She's still active. She created a whole concept around tidying and organizing. And this is the basis for the first of the three sessions, where we're going to focus on decluttering and optimizing your digital presence. So we're going to cover some essential strategies. Digital marketing, as Nick just said, is constantly evolving, and having a well-organized, updated online presence is key to staying ahead. So today we're going to review digital housekeeping, why it matters, why we do it, where to go to keep your online presence current, understanding your target customers, and finally, reviewing your most valuable asset, your customers, and how best to communicate with them. And we'll be doing it in line with Marie Kondo's famous KonMari method. And I will be referencing some other presentations that are already on Digiport. And so you can get in touch and download those or just browse the site for more in-depth information on some of the topics that I touch. And you'll be getting some worksheets to help you organize yourselves at the end of the session. So this is the KonMari method is a minimalist-inspired approach to tackling the management of your household things category by category. And it all boils down to the one phrase: ask yourself if each item in your home sparks joy. If it doesn't, get rid of it. That was her whole mantra. And the appeal of this is that actually it can be applied to all parts of your life, from folding your clothes to, in our case, managing your tourism business's online presence. And the KonMari to KonMari your life, there are 5 basic guidelines. Commit yourself to tidying up, imagine your ideal lifestyle, finish discarding first, tidy by category, not location, and ask yourself, ultimately, does it spark joy? Now, I've amended this concept somewhat for our specific application. So this is the KonMari method for tourism businesses. Here I've identified a few key elements while still following more or less her framework. And Marie Kondo's original phrase was, ask yourself if each item in your home sparks joy. And I've updated this to ask yourself, does it spark joy for your customers? Joy, interest, is it a motive for your customers? And I believe we have one of the attendees here already asked on there when they registered. They said, what is the number one piece of advice for a brand new business? And Tamar, I would recommend is to understand the needs of your customers, tailor everything to cater that, and try and figure out, does it spark joy for them? So here's my rework of the KonMari method. You've got to commit yourself to tidying. Well, I mean, you've got to be committed to tidying up your digital presence. If you don't, then you run the risk of inconsistency across various platforms, a loss of credibility, and a lack of trust. Imagine your ideal customer. This is key, is what I just mentioned. If your customer demographic isn't guiding your marketing, you're wasting your time and you're wasting your money. Finish discarding first. Discarding is an important part of the process because it provides you an opportunity to review what you've done, what worked, and what didn't. Cleaning out elements that don't work or are never viewed is essential for keeping your website and your social media, everything, your presence online, streamlined and on track. Tidy by platform. Some platforms are inextricably linked, like Instagram and Facebook, but it's key to ensure that each platform is reviewed regularly. And then, does it spark joy or interest for your customers? In much the same way as discarding, you need to evaluate which elements of your website are relevant to your target demographic. So why are we doing this digital housekeeping? Your digital presence is the first impression many customers have of your business. The first thing you do now when you're booking a holiday is you go online. And just as you would keep a physical storefront clean, your online presence needs to be well maintained and clean as well. Neglecting this digital housekeeping, I'll call it, such as leaving outdated content, broken links, or inconsistent branding can lead to lost customers and decreased credibility with your customers. Trust is everything. Online, you have to be coherent. Keeping your website and social media channels fresh and relevant ensures a seamless experience for your visitors. So by decluttering and optimizing your digital assets, you can save time, enhance efficiency, and create a stronger connection with your potential customers. And as a bonus, Google also scans websites for updates and new content, and it helps your SEO for your site, which we'll come to later. Since you're all here, and we're going to assume you're committed to tidying up your online presence, we're going to jump straight to item 2, imagine your ideal customer. The key to your digital marketing strategy, if your customer demographic isn't guiding your marketing, you're wasting your time and your money. You've got to know who your customer is. So how do we define these individuals? For those of you who've attended other seminars I've given, you'll know that I feel that identifying your perfect customer is absolutely key to making the most of your time and your money. And you may have more than one customer type, and it's important to figure out what your customer types are. So as you can see from this screen, first we're going to define your customer by geographic. So geographic segmentation divides the market into different geographical units, such as nations, regions, states, countries, cities, or even they can tone in now down to neighborhoods. Psychographic. Now, it's a segmentation that divides a market into different segments based on their lifestyle or personality. Demographic is segments based on age, life cycle, gender, income, occupation. And behavioral segmentation divides a market into segments based on consumer knowledge, attitudes, or responses to a product. Defining your customer allows you to target them more efficiently, and you may have more than one customer type. People often get a bit confused between psychographic and behavioral segmentation, so I put together an example. So while different, psychographic and behavioral segmentation can be combined for stronger marketing strategies. For example, a luxury traveler, it's a psychographic trait, who books last-minute deals, behavioral trait, could be targeted with exclusive high-end last-minute deal offers. An eco-conscious traveler, a psychographic trait, who only books sustainable stays, which is a behavioral trait, could receive marketing for green certified hotels and experiences. And I'll explain this in the context of how you set up a Google ad target segment. So this is setting up a target segment for Google Ads, and you can see it asks you for people with these interests. That's a psychographic element. People who browse websites similar to, again, that defines a psychographic element. And then people who use apps similar to, this is the behavioral element. So Google uses these and kind of tries to get you to fill them in without complicating matters too much. Here's how Google defines demographics: gender, age, and household income. So once you've defined some of these basic characteristics, you can focus in on creating buyer personas that are semi-fictional representation of your customers, in which you split them into groups based on their characteristics, lifestyles, and pain points, i.e. what they're looking for. Built on a mixture of data and your own assumptions and experiences. And they're also proven to be highly effective. 82% of companies that use personas improve their value proposition, and 71% of companies that exceed revenue goals have documented buyer personas. So this is obviously something that is very well used. Once you know your customers inherently, you'll be able to plot your services and products that effectively meets their needs. So ideally, you want to shoot for 3 different personas and focus on those that matter most. You can always create more down the line, but for now, just focus on your top 3. And I'm sure that each one of you can think of an example of your perfect, or conversely, your worst type of client. All you have to do is identify their key characteristics, give them some personalities and presence. So I'm going to give you a few examples of buyer personas. It's kind of fun to give them alliterative names as well. This is Adventure Alex, 32 years old, a solo traveler, possibly with friends, mid to high income, likes hiking, kayaking, whale watching, wants well-maintained trails, safety information, and eco-friendly options. And you can focus in on what the marketing approach could be for this kind of buyer persona. Adventure packages, guided tours, unique outdoor experiences. Then we've got Cultural Claire, 45 years old, travels with a partner, interests in historic sites, museums. They're very detail-oriented, prefers nice itineraries, very organized excursions, organized experiences. And for this, your marketing approach could be to promote historic landmarks, cultural festivals, artisanal experiences. Family-friendly, Frank and Fiona. Yeah, this is my gig at the moment. Parents in their late 30s. Oh, maybe I'm a bit older than that. With kids, kid-friendly attractions. They need safe, engaging activities to keep those little guys occupied during your holidays. So things like interactive museums, wildlife parks, family vacation packages. They're the sort of marketing strategies you could use for family-friendly Frank and Fiona. And then we have Luxury Linda, 50 years old, affluent, likes luxury experiences, spa retreats, fine dining, private boat tours, things like this. So you can highlight 5-star resorts, private tours, gourmet seafood experiences, which in Nova Scotia is key. and eco-conscious Eric. 28 years old, value sustainable, prefers eco-friendly travel. There are a lot of eco-friendly travelers now. Very keen on wildlife conservation, avoids over-commercialized tourism, wants something that is a little more down to earth, a little more back to nature. And you can emphasize your green certified accommodation, low impact tours, local food sourcing, things like that. And the key is to really create personalities for your clients, your buyer personas, and have some fun with these. Bear in mind that these are just examples, and you'll have your own unique buyer personas. So to point 3 of the KonMari method, we've committed to tidying. We've imagined our buyer persona, our ideal customer type, and now we're going to start cleaning up. So finish discarding. Discarding is an important part of the process because it provides an opportunity to learn from your past experiences. And that's really what I mean by discarding. For a tourism business, reviewing your online presence and cleaning out elements that don't work or are never viewed is essential to keeping your website streamlined and on track. The discarding element of the process is not so much physical deleting of files, although there can be that. A lot of it is reviewing your marketing efforts. And it provides you with an opportunity to reflect on what has worked in your previous years and what didn't. You can discard those ideas. You can learn from your experiences. Marie calls it thanking your discards. I call it learning from experience. To do this effectively, you really should use data from your website, data from your social media, and data gleaned from surveys. And so how do you do this? Depending on how you're set up, this could be a pencil and paper review. You could be just going through, oh, I received lots of emails based on this. I received lots of hits based on this. But if you have an online presence, chances are you have some data analytics. So you should log into your analytics dashboards with Google Analytics, Meta, which is Facebook and Instagram. They've got insights. And then TikTok, if you have TikTok Studio will give you insights. And you should really go in and identify any peaks and or significant sales periods when they occurred and whether they coincided with a marketing push, a specific post. And bear in mind that it's always easier to tell when something's worked. Not so easy to tell when something hasn't worked, because obviously you get those peaks. And you should really see, okay, I made a push on day X. Did I get any peak? Did I get any hits? Did I get any increase in sales? Did I get increased calls? And look to find those things that didn't work. Look to find those things that did work, and then learn from them, and you can apply them to the coming year's marketing push. The second element within the discard section is content. And this could be kept within the tidy by platform section, but I think that the archiving of posts in Instagram, Facebook, or blogs or articles on your webpage can be tackled here within the discard content section. So why would you want to archive? And I emphasize archive, not delete. And that's because you can still keep the data from these posts. If you archive them, if you delete them, the data may be gone. So why would you want to archive? You clean up your timeline. You can maintain brand consistency. Some concerns over privacy of some elements that you mentioned previously that you might not want on the internet anymore, then you can clean those up. Old contests or giveaways. No one cares about a contest or a giveaway that was 2 years ago. It really clean that up. Content or profiles for employees who no longer work with the company. This is very common. This is something that you see. Oh, we've welcomed the new, the new director X, except he left 6 months ago. Things like that make your business seem outdated. And then outdated posts from seasonal campaigns. Again, marketing Christmas 2024, it's not valid anymore. Let's just get rid of that. You're not going to gain anything from keeping that on your website. So once you've tidied up those elements of your website, then we're going to look at tidying by platform. So as I mentioned, some platforms are linked, such as Facebook and Instagram. However, it is key to ensure that each platform you're present on is reviewed and updated regularly. as a tourism business, you need to start by identifying where you're listed, and you are listed in a lot of places. Some you may not even know. So a good rule of thumb is to search for your business using an incognito tab or I forget what Safari calls it, but the way of searching without having your search history, and search for your business and find out where it pops up, because a lot of people have some listing sites, they don't even realize they're on them anymore. So the first thing to start with is your online travel agencies. Then you need to go for your social media platforms. And we're going to go into these one by one. Your website and Google My Business listing. I'll come to how important that is. Any local listing and review sites. And this is where you may forget that you listed with Lunenburg B&Bs 5 years ago. So sites like TripAdvisor, Yelp, the local chambers of commerce. And then you've got some industry-specific sites, depending on what your business is, such as Vita, Get Your Guide, destination marketing organizations. And with the amount of sites that are out there, it's easy to forget one. So I'd recommend creating an online list and or an offline list so you don't forget them. Even sites like LinkedIn. So just be aware of that. And part of the worksheet will let you make a list. Worksheet you get at the end of the session will help you make a list of all these sites that you find you're on. So we're going to start by reviewing your website. Your website, it's often the first touch point for potential customers. So keeping it optimized is crucial. A mobile-friendly design ensures accessibility across all devices, improving your user experience and your search rankings. So regularly audit your site to remove outdated content, broken links, and irrelevant pages. Basic search engine optimization elements like page speed, metadata, and accessibility also play a vital role in your website's visibility. So by fine-tuning these aspects, we'll enhance your customer engagement and your performance via Google, your SEO. So how do we do this? And again, there'll be a worksheet that touches on all these points. Firstly, it is very, very important now to evaluate the mobile-friendly element of your site. There are sites out there that are not geared around mobile devices, and 68% of online traffic for travel and hospitality in 2023 was from a mobile device. Now, in 2024, I'm sure that increased. I haven't found any data for it yet, but it is absolutely critical that your website is mobile friendly. So how do you make sure it is? Well, honestly, the easiest way is just to go on your iPad, on your phone, try and make a booking on your own website. How easy is it? Do the images show up properly? Is it quick loading? Now, that's one way of evaluating it and is easy to do. You can also use online search tools like SE ranking. And if you search website optimizer check in Google, then it'll come up with a number of sites you can plug in your website, and it'll tell you whether or not you have a site that's optimized for mobile and desktop. So what happens if it isn't working? What happens if you've noticed differences and you don't know how to solve it? It really depends on the platform you use, but a simple answer is just to get in touch with one of the web developers available through Digiport, and ask them to evaluate your site. Anyone is able to request a one-on-one session, and it allows you to get them to do a quick review of your site and make some recommendations. So I can't recommend that highly enough, and it's free. Broken links. So what is a broken link? A broken or dead link is a link that you click, but it doesn't work. It doesn't take you to the page you're expecting to get to. You can try and convince yourself that they'll come back, but unfortunately, 88% of online consumers are less likely to return to a site after a bad experience. So that broken link not only drives prospects away, but it damages your reputation in the process. Google also takes note of these broken links, so it'll affect your SEO and you'll be ranked lower. However, they are easy to catch. So, and I know that Joe is actually one of the attendees here. Joe, I've used Bayview Pines, your website, as an example here. So I went into deadlinkchecker.com. I put in Bayview Pines, and there were 4 dead links. Now, I've gone through these all since I did the site, and actually only one of them is a dead link. So Joe, I need to get in touch, and we're going to fix that one broken link. The other ones were because of server issues and the links actually work fine. So now your website, we're looking at a content review of your website. Make sure to check for outdated pop-up ads. I had one client who had a Mother's Day ad, a special that popped up every time you visit their website for about 4 months after Mother's Day, and nothing makes a site look worse than an outdated promotion. It's great to have reviews on your site. Always put reviews on there, but try and make sure they're as up to date as possible. Reviews from 2018 really don't mean much anymore. Try and make sure the reviews you're showing are from the previous year and are really going to capture people's attention. Other content, recent images, opening times, the Google Maps plugin. If you have a Google Maps plugin, it's very common to go to a tourism website and you scroll down to the map, you want to know where it is, and it says Google Map not connected. It's incredibly frustrating. So things like that, go on your website and check it out. I also found websites that had videos on their homepage that no longer worked. So, or that the audio had been copyrighted, so they'd been taken down. You've got to be really take care of your own websites. And be careful of external links to local listings. What's going on. It's easy to forget you link into these, and actually that's the one that Joe, you and I have to fix. But here are a couple of examples of local tourism businesses from when I created this presentation just a couple of weeks ago. So a local tourism business linked to a schedule for June 28th, 2024. What's going on in June? That's not going to help anyone. 25 things to do this summer in Richmond County from 2020. So you've got to go through, make sure your links are updated. I guarantee things they did in 2020, very different things they're doing this year. Now, your website, SEO and usability. So this element, it's more than just digital marketing, but I thought I'd mention it as there were quite a lot of comments within the registered users on SEO. How do I improve my SEO? How do I get my website higher in Google? And we will touch on these in later the next session. But I would really try and keep it as simple as possible. Make sure that the text on your website is nice, clean, and concise. If you have the ability, or if you have a digital marketing consultant you work with, or you can get in touch with Digiport, install a plugin such as Yoast, go on to Google and ask Google, Search Console, Google Analytics, what can I do to improve my website? And we'll get into SEO a little bit more in the next session, but it is important to bear in mind that try and keep it as simple as possible. Google My Business. I cannot emphasize enough to you how important Google Business is. Ensuring your Google My Business, or Google Business, sorry, information is correct it's arguably even more important than your own website. Google has 90% market share, and your listing will show up on Google right on the right hand side. Okay, here we've got the sale in Lunenburg, for example. Yes, I searched for them specifically so that they're top of the organic results, but also there is their Google My Business listing. It provides accurate business hours, location, contact details. Tourists can find you easily on Google Maps because it links with Google Maps. It boosts local SEO to attract more customers. It keeps customers informed about seasonal changes, special events, closures, for example. And it builds credibility because people leave reviews on there. You can see here, sail in, a 4.8, 77, 5-star Google, or 4.8-star Google reviews. Some businesses use their Google business page as their web page. That's how powerful a Google business listing can be. So please make sure your Google business listing is up to date. So moving through the list of areas to update, we come to your online travel agencies, OTAs. Depending on how your website is set up, and I know that a lot of OTA websites automatically get pricing data, some information from your own website, depending on what platform you're using. However, photos and descriptions are seldom updated automatically. If your rooms have been renovated, if your services have changed, if you're offering more experiences, then you'll need to add these in manually to your Expedia listing, your Airbnb listing, Booking.com, VRBO, whichever platform it is that you use. And people use different contact options now. Now the technology is improving. So make sure you've got the correct email, cell number, and even WhatsApp number. I was recently on holiday in Costa Rica, and WhatsApp is all they use. It's incredibly simple, incredibly easy to use, and that is all they use in Costa Rica. Local listing sites. This is where you've got to really think about this. They can be invaluable for both SEO and to gain new visitors. I've got an example here: the town of Lunenburg, inns and B&Bs, bnbcanada.com, novascotia.com, for example. So it's your responsibility to ensure that your listing details, contact information, package deals, they're all correct. Each region has its own, each market. If you're doing excursions, there'll be different local listing sites, but try and make sure that you catch all those. And like I said, a good way of doing it is to go incognito mode in your browser, search for your business, and you might find some listing sites that you'd forgotten you'd even listed on. Now, this is an example of a local kayak business that is expanding to a floating cabin rental, which I think is a fantastic idea. I'm still intrigued as to how the septic works, but I think this is brilliant. And I'm using this example from the tourism Nova Scotia for two reasons. I know, because of Lunenburg, that they haven't yet launched the floating cottage, but they have an image of it up, so you can see that they've already updated their listing on this page already this year, so that's great. It's still got a bit of snow on it, so I understand that they might need to update that. But I'd be interested in seeing how quickly they update the listing once it's in the water. And I checked this morning, they still got this image up, and I haven't had a chance to check the water yet. So I'm hoping that as soon as they get it in the water, they'll be updating this listing with a picture of it floating. They've even got links on the Tourism Nova Scotia site that link to events happening this year within this. So that's good job. Lunenburg Kayak Rentals, that's perfect. Positive reviews. Review sites are key to marketing your business online. Going on a holiday, having an experience, it's a very emotional connection you make with your customer. And they want to feel confident in your abilities, in your services. So for this reason, your listing on review sites has to be updated regularly. It's like I mentioned before, try and keep your reviews as recent as possible. It's always good to answer reviews and to thank the reviewer. So sites are highly used by travelers booking online, so such as Yelp, Trustpilot, even the Better Business Bureau. Reviews influence travel decisions. Tourists rely heavily on reviews before booking. Their Google and TripAdvisor reviews boost your search rankings. Positive reviews obviously lead to more reservations, more bookings, and tourists trust businesses with fresh, high-rated reviews. So make sure your reviews are up to date. And industry-specific sites. If you're offering experiences, things like Viator or Get Your Guide, there are some sites that you may have listed with that are very specific to your tourism business. So make sure that you keep those up to date. On to social media challenges, the social media channels, the most challenging of the elements. Social media, there's so many of them. Don't try and do everything at once. At this point, don't worry about creating new posts. This is just about making sure the online presence is tidy and organized. Now, social media challenges, they are key to your online presence, and ensuring your profile is updated helps maintain relevance in search results. You can showcase seasonal events and promotions. You can improve audience engagement, improve trust, encourage direct bookings, and leverage your user-generated content, UGC, to attract more visitors. So before creating a social media calendar, which is what we're going to be doing in the later sessions, you need to make sure that you update your social media sites with opening times, contact details, and just a single post or an image for the upcoming season, so that 2025 is front and center. Okay, so earlier we defined your customer demographic, and hopefully you'll be creating your buyer personas after this session using the worksheets that you'll get. And your CRM, or your customer relationship management database, is one of your most powerful assets. A well-maintained email list ensures sustainable growth for your business, building lasting relationships that keep visitors coming back again and again. And this is proven over and over. It allows you to directly reach past, present, and potential visitors with no reliance on third-party platforms like social media or paid ads. A good email list that is segmented correctly gives you direct access to your audience. It's incredibly cost-effective. It encourages repeat business and loyalty. It leverages the seasonal booking cycle. You can control every element of it, which you can't do with digital media, with social media. It boosts the word of mouth, and it allows you to really segment and personalize your communication with those customers. As I think it's Forbes here says, it costs 5 to 7 times more to acquire a new customer than to retain an existing one. So make sure you've got your email lists, your existing client database, make sure that's as up to date as possible. Try and make it as coherent as possible. Define your customers by interests. As I mentioned, by buyer personas, which allows you to really target them and their interests specifically in email campaigns. And we'll be looking at this in a later session. So, congratulations. You made it to the last section in the KonMari method, and you've updated everything on your digital platforms. Your spring cleaning is completed. And now you can look forward to creating new content, which is what we're going to be looking at moving forward, to promote your business for the 2025 season. Remember, it's time to start thinking about 2025. Before posting, emailing, creating new packages, anything really, ask yourself, will it spark joy or interest to my audience? That should be the first thing you say. Is this going to spark joy? Is this going to be interesting? Is this going to create an emotion for my audience? Does it align with my brand's story and values? Is it aligned with my brand? Will my ideal visitor find this valuable, inspiring, or engaging? You've got to create an emotional connection to your clients. This is where the element of trust comes in. And will it help me achieve my marketing goals? So remember, we were going to increase our reach measurably, increase our engagement measurably, and increase our bookings measurably. So we're going to use those 3 objectives, and we're going to measure them at every point while we're going through these sessions, and focus. Is this going to create joy for my customer? Is it going to increase my reach? Is it going to increase my bookings? Is it going to increase my engagement with my customers? And prioritize quality over quantity. It's better to have one amazing, interesting blog post than 10 rushed ones. I know I'm not the only one. I just receive email after email, or I see one company that posts 5 times a day and then nothing for a month and then 5 times in a day. Try and keep it consistent and quality. Now, we're a little ahead of time, but next week, we're conversions and bookings. Remember, always thinking about those measurable objectives. And key takeaways for the next session will be understanding the levels of online marketing to ensure your energies are focused in the right place. Understanding and defining the best ways to engage with your target clients, I've mentioned already. Create those buyer personas. And how to optimize conversions using paid ads and email marketing. So we're going to be looking at really using your website, getting your SEO up, then getting your content, understanding social media, perhaps using influencers. I've got some examples of that. Focusing into your clients using email marketing, and focusing more using pay-per-click marketing and how to do that effectively. Now, after this workshop, you'll be sent a handout that helps you to define your buyer personas, as well as a digital housekeeping checklist to aid you in ensuring that your online digital presence is up to date. So everything we've gone through in this session, step by step, you can tick it off. Okay, I've checked my LinkedIn, I've checked my Google business. So you can make sure that you have consolidated your presence, you're consistent across your social media platforms, your website is up to date, and now we can move on with creating your digital marketing plan, and then you can look at implementing it in the future 2 sessions. Here are my details. I just want to make sure that you are all aware that Digiteboard experts are available to you, and you can book a one-on-one session. There's no cost to you to help you review your website, review your digital marketing, and help you get the best interactions you can, the best engagements and results you can from your online presence. So that is the end of the presentation, and I can now address any questions we have. So we have someone looking to start a venture for indigenous tourism catered to astronomy lovers, cultural tourists, and locals. Do I have any tips? The goal is to generate revenues to benefit local Mi'kmaq communities, and what legal structure is most ideal for this? Okay, with regards to the legal structure, a little bit out of my ball field, but if you are looking to cater to an individual who has that very specific interest, lifestyle, then you can create a buyer persona, create, the closest one I have there is, I think it was Eco-Friendly Eric. Use that as a basis. The goal is generate revenue benefit. Oh, I mean, it's a fantastic idea. Astronomy lovers, my mind is revolving with the amount of posts you can make about eclipses, about the clarity, the lack of light pollution that we have in areas of Nova Scotia. There are some really, really interesting ways that you could market and cater to Indigenous tourism visitors. And ask yourself at every point, is what I'm doing sparking joy for my customers? Is it of interest to them? So that, sorry, I see that's just come through in the, sorry. Yeah, Tyra, I'd love to chat to you more about this. I think it's a fantastic idea. I just realized that was in the question and answer session as opposed to the chat. Let's have a look at the chat. And we've got a Marie. Oh, Tyra, sorry, I see there you've. Does TNS have information that might help us in shaping our customer profiles and understanding our markets? There is a lot of data out there, especially on visitor demographics, on visitor statistics, which will allow you to understand who's visiting our province, where they're coming from, and why they're visiting us. And it's within the Tourism Nova Scotia website, novascotia.com. And I believe it's under statistics. Nick will be able to share that a little bit more. But yes, there are a number of different reports that have been generated, which will allow you to understand who's visiting, why they're visiting, and when they're visiting, which will help you create that buyer persona that I talk about so much.
Yeah, thanks, Liam. We also have, where they go, how long they stay, what they spend their money on, and that's on tourismns.ca, and we'll get Jennifer can share a link out to that. We are working on our most up-to-date data now, and of course, any info that we have there, when we have the most up-to-date numbers, we share it through our news and resources section, which I'll talk about when I wrap up. But that's the most important thing you can do as an industry member when it comes to the most up-to-date relevant information on programming and numbers, is to sign up for our news and resources section, because we share all that information to industry as soon as it's publicly available. And it's very helpful. We have some of the best research and stats in Canada when it comes to tourism numbers. So it's really important and will help you really make some informed decisions. So the buyer personas will be greatly informed by this real data. So sorry for that long interruption, but and look, there it is right there. Jennifer just popped it in the chat.
Okay. Any other questions regarding what we've covered today? I noticed Greg has just posted a question. Are there any visitation forecasts done to predict what to expect this summer? Nick, over to you for that one.
You know what? We don't have any specific numbers that we like within Tourism Nova Scotia. And I know we've recently read some forecasting um, from through Halifax in the partnership there. So we can share that information with you, Greg. But again, unless anyone on the call from my team has any additional information, we capture stats and present them. For example, like for the 2024 year, we'll have that ready shortly to be able to provide information. But in terms of predictors, and that usually comes through different organizations. So Greg, we'll put that in the parking lot, but we'll share any information we can with you for that. And I know the predictions would be ever evolving with the current situation. Domestic travel should theoretically be up. Like if you look, I read something this morning that said domestic travel across Canada is expected to be increased, and the numbers as travelers become less comfortable traveling to certain countries, they may hopefully choose Canada as a safer welcoming destination for them.
Yeah, Jennifer has just posted on the chat. Please join our marketing webinar next week. Webinar Tourism Nova Scotia marketing activities and resources for 2025. So, Greg, that might be worth you attending.
Yeah, that's a great webinar. Talks about our current campaign, where we're marketing, who we're marketing to, who we expect to be coming, and again, it's a lot of great information there, and you'll be up to date with. You'll get all the up-to-date information from us and see the decisions we're making and who we're marketing to and how we're marketing to them. So, always a fun session for sure.
Yeah. Any other questions on what we've covered today, or in anything that people would like to see in the two sessions moving forward in particular? Okay.
Okay, so thanks so much, Liam. I'm going to take back over the screen here. Of course, this is part one of a three-part series, and you have Liam's information on the screen here. If you want to connect with him, book a session. If you want to give him some feedback on what you'd like to see in 2 and 3, of course, people have different opportunities to share. So letting him know by email is good. And if there's I'm just going to take back over the screen here, Liam. And again, if anything pops up after the fact, we'll just make sure any questions, if they come through us, go to Liam and vice versa. Alrighty. So again, thank you for joining us today. And I hope everyone on the call can pay attention to some really important dates coming up. We have our TDAP program closes today at 4 p.m. So anyone interested in the Tourism Digital Assistance Program, that's up to $5,000 in services for a business. So applications close at 4, and you can find them on our website and also on Digital Nova Scotia's website. You can also find it on Digiport. Our webinar today and all future webinars are found on multiple channels, but through tourismns.ca/webinar-series, they're all there. We have our Tourism Digital Assistance Program for communities, and that is a closing date of April 30th. So we do offer communities a little bit of a longer application period due to the nature of, some of the factors they have to consider when applying. The Radiate Tourism Program is a great program where it provides opportunities for partnership with experience development to create packages, and really great program. I'd encourage you to check any of these programs out there on our website. This is Radiate, and it is open until Thursday, April 9th. So that's next Thursday at 4. We have our Emerging Destinations program, and that is open until Wednesday, May 7th at 4 p.m. So some deadlines coming up today, of course, is the last day for TDAP. So encourage anyone to apply that's interested. If you meet the program guidelines, if you have any questions, please check out the website, and we're also available to answer any questions on that. Thank you so much again for joining us. Next session with Liam is going to be April 10th and 17th. And we have both Thursdays, of course, at 10 a.m. Marketing the Maritimes, create and implement your digital marketing plan for 2025. The information is here. We're providing a 3-step process to help you with your marketing planning. Session 2 is the promotional pyramid, focusing on your online effort. Session 3 is preparing for takeoff, your digital marketing calendar countdown. Lots of great information. As you saw today, Liam is informed. He has a way of making it easy for us to understand. So thank you so much, Liam, and looking forward to that. And then, so again, like I mentioned earlier, if you have any questions or you'd like to send any feedback to us on the webinars, any ideas, tnsbusiness@novascotia.ca, our corporate website, where all of our programming will be that we talked about, tourismns.ca, our consumer website, novascotia.com. So that would be where our call to action is. Any of our marketing, any of our campaigns will always send the visitor to novascotia.com. That's where your business should be listed, and that's where we want to make sure we maximize your business profile. TNS news and resources. So that again is what I talk about when we mention our programming, our webinars, anything relevant. It's on there. You can sign up with your email, and we'll send that out whenever we have a biweekly email. But we also a newsletter, but we also send out information as relevant. Our corporate Twitter is TourismNS, and you can find us on LinkedIn at Tourism Nova Scotia. Thank you for joining us, and hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.